This label maker makes me way too happy. So I just got this package. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, seeing as where it's coming from. Awesome. This is great. So Untethered in February actually won its first film festival award. Pretty crazy, right? It won an award at a film festival called the Damn Short Film Festival. And the award it won was the best documentary of the festival, which is really, really exciting. It's like it's a huge honor. And this is sort of the trophy that they just sent me. It looks like a Hoover Dam sort of plate mounted to this plaque here. So awesome. This just seems like so in style with how the film festival seemed to be. So that's really cool. Thank you so much, Damn Short. It's a huge honor to receive an award from you guys as the first award for Untethered. That's really cool. So thank you. Am I allowed to say I'm an award-winning filmmaker now? Is that how that works? I don't know. I don't really care either. But yeah, an award. I swear I could make every episode of Leftcoast Life about me trying to clean up the studio. I'm not a very clean person, but it's like destroyed in here. It's like completely destroyed. And I've been trying to make it not destroyed. I'm going to make it as not destroyed as possible. Then I'm going to show you some cool things, like a little tour of what's going on over here. What you're looking at is the sad existence of my first computer build. Story time. Back in 2010, I spent the entirety of my money at that time, which is around $2,000, on buying my first camera and building my first computer. The camera could shoot HD footage, and no computer in our household at the time could edit that. So I knew I needed to get a computer, and me and this machine go way back. Lots of very frustrating hours were spent with this thing. If anybody's built a Hackintosh before and it had GPU problems, you know what I'm talking about. So I feel ya. It's kind of fun having it around, but I'm actually getting it ready because I'm gonna sell it off next week. Just pass it along to someone who wants to use it as a PC like it was meant to. So just finished sort of undestructing the studio. Did the best I could for now. It's been really fun, and it's also been kind of a struggle setting the studio up in the past month and a bit. And it's not necessarily just the space that I have here, but just the things that I need to acquire in order to have kind of an editing setup and just the gear that I need to continue to run and build my own production company. Because in the past, I've always relied pretty heavily on other people's gear, and now I'm setting up my own setup. And that includes archiving workflows and just a lot of stuff that costs a lot of money, but isn't very glamorous, like hard drives. It's not very glamorous, but I've had to spend like $1,000+ on hard drives. Like, who gives, right? But I'm going to show you what's going on here, and hopefully it gets you stoked. So this is kind of the main area here that I'm considering the studio space. Starting over here on the left is kind of my gear shelf. Up here on the top is where I'm putting my lenses and things like that. Then down here, this shelf is sort of battery charging central. Still need some better cable management things going on back there. But this is where batteries exist and get charged right after use. I installed this little LED strip thing underneath. Pretty straightforward. Also another strip underneath there. And yeah, this is kind of just like the gear storage area. Moving over here, let's look at hard drives. So I have a majority of my hard drives right here. This unit right here is just a 4-bay RAID.
I'm not using it in a RAID configuration. I'm just using it to hold separate drives, and those drives are doing automatic backups almost every hour for different drives on my other stuff. So this right here is a project drive. So inside this drive are two 1 terabyte SSDs, and they're in RAID 0. So I get really, really fast speeds, almost 900 megabytes per second. So that's kind of my main project drive, and that is hourly backed up right here. So I always have multiple copies of my project drive. And then over here, I have another 8 terabyte project drive, and that's kind of the working overflow for some of the bigger projects that take more time. So this is kind of the main hard drive setup. And then on the top shelf here, I just have a basic 2-drive toaster. So these are just like archive drives that I need to access at a given time, or just other backups. And right here, this drive right here is just my time machine backup. So this is always backing up the computer and the project drive as well. So multiple backups. And all the USB 3 stuff is all coming off this dock splitter thing here that has multiple ports. And I got these little Kingston card readers. And so there's 3 USB 3.0 SD and micro SD card readers right here. I'm satisfied with what I have so far as working drives. What I consider working drives are like where projects that I'm currently working on exist. The system I'm not satisfied with right now is my archiving system. So once a project is done on the current drives, then they move into archive where they automatically, well, it's not automatic because I need to do it, but then I put it on 2 identical copied archive drives. After they're in their archive drives, they sit in cases that are matching color, so I know that they're pairs. But that's the step that isn't as far along as I would like because I don't have enough archive drives. I archive onto these 8 terabyte Seagate drives, and I just don't have enough right now. I need probably another 4 more to make sure everything's archived properly and makes sense. This here's my live streaming and screencast recording microphone. It's a very basic setup. This is just a dynamic microphone, and right over here I have an H4n, which I use as my audio interface. I passionately dislike the H4n for many reasons. The user interface and way to set gain on tracks and just everything about it is just so much more frustrating than it needs to be. So that's kind of my screencast and live streaming setup, just basic dynamic microphone on a shock mount and H4n. Over here, I got some awesome letterpressed coasters from Mr. Sean McCabe. Love those. And yes, sometimes I do have 3 hot drinks on my desk at a time. Yeah. Oh, and I almost forgot, this space right over here is where I do my writing. Don't know if you found that interesting, but this is kind of the space I've been working on. Fun to see it kind of take shape. A lot of money just spent on stupid Thunderbolt cables and stuff like that. So that's been kind of annoying, but I finally feel like I have a setup that I'm becoming increasingly confident in for doing professional work. Thanks so much for the encouragement, everyone. It's been really cool to see comments happening more and more frequently in the bottom section of these videos, and that's really encouraging to me to see you guys engaging. I'm doing my best to get to all your questions, and it's just a really exciting time for me to kind of see this place start to grow. The best place to stay involved is by joining the Leftcoast Collective, my free email newsletter and resource where you guys get direct access to my inbox and you can ask me questions. I'll email you back. If I haven't emailed you back yet, I'm sorry. I've definitely read it, but I need to get better at email, and so I'm working on that too. Goals, right? Just always setting goals. Okay, guys, that's this episode of the Leftcoast Life. Remember, life's better when you make stuff.